Nice to meet you. It's an honor to meet you. Really, it is.
Thank you.
You are responsible for a lot of my favorites, and what a credits list you have. Edward Scissorhands, of course, Nightmare Before Christmas, some incredible films. And now you're making your directorial debut. What drew you to this story?
Yeah, well, it's not autobiographical.
Okay.
No, what drew me to the story were the two really strong female characters. And I wanted to make a movie that was a roller coaster ride for an audience, where they're on the edge of their seat and it's scary. And it also says something about, our experience and things that we deal with, blended families, divorce, stepchildren, all these things that we are challenging, and really hard to deal with. And our characters take them too far and to an extreme, but there's something to learn from that as well.
I think one of the scarier things too about this story is that it does, you hear it on the news a lot, stories that this could play out in real life, I'm sure it has.
Yeah.
Did you actually go and research maybe some case studies to...
I did talk to people who have crazy first wives and have struggled or second wives that have dealt with that. It's not an uncommon situation where it's very difficult to watch your child be mothered, by a second wife or a stepmother. So I did talk to a lot of people, and I did read about some situations that went too far. But, we really went very far with our Tessa character, and Katherine Heigl had created this, larger than life kind of, crazy person. But I think we have compassion for her. I tried very hard to help people understand why she was the way she was.
What about working with this cast, though? I mean, you've got Cheryl Ladd, you've got Katherine Heigl, you did Rosario Dawson. We talked about the fight scene, by the way, which was just insane.
Oh, good.
But I want to, working with them, the coaching that how you worked with them, tell me a little bit about that.
I think we had, as women together, we did have kind of a shorthand. We've, lived through similar experiences as women. So, we spent a lot of time talking about these characters and, what their pasts were, what they've struggled with, what they, with Rosario Dawson's character, we did some research on victims of domestic violence and, talked about how she had overcome this and, gotten treatment and worked on herself. With Katherine, we talked about, the background, how her mother had affected her. So we went pretty deep with the characters, and I think, they're just such brilliant actresses. It was such a pleasure to do all this with them.
I also want to bring up today, your dad is just awesome.
Oh,
I mean,
thank you.
talk about a credits list. I mean, Desilu, Andy Griffith Show, some of my favorites. I really love old
Yes, I
movies
was
like
very
that.
lucky growing up, with, Lena Horne, Peggy Lee, and Margaret, all these women he was musical conductor for. He's a great jazz musician.